Roshan Palewar, CEO of Doc Roche Global Solutions. I'm really happy to also state that Dr. Roshan is our member of the Industrial Advisory Council at D.Y. Patel University School of Pharmacy, and he has been actually involved in giving us suggestions, developing our curriculum, and planning many more activities for the versatile development of the students. Today, to begin this knowledge yajna, I present you Dr. Roshan Palewar, Encyclopedia of Knowledge in Pharmaceutical Industry. Dr. Palewar is having the experience of 15 years plus, in fact, into varieties of field. He is a mentor, researcher, and also an entrepreneur. He has been actively engaged into this kind of platform where he wishes to share his knowledge, whatever he has acquired through his experience and through his interaction with the various global leaders in the pharmaceutical industry. He has been acclaimed with various awards by the government of India as well as various stalwarts in the pharmaceutical industry. In this session, I welcome you, Dr. Roshan, here, and really happy to have you here on board for this knowledge yajna today. And let us inaugurate. I request you to declare that you have inaugurated this knowledge yajna with the first webinar series today. Over to you, Dr. Roshan.
Dr. Rakesh, thank you so much for a really wonderful introduction. And I think it goes well with you because you are the leader. You are taking the full control and giving the directions to the students and upcoming youngsters to be part of the pharma industry. And you have been rightly pinned down the series. And I'm sure this will going to be one of the successful stories to be recalled in the future as well. So thanks for the warm invitation and the welcome as well. So as you said, knowledge yagya. So let's start with the god of medicine, Dhanvantari itself. So Dhanvantari is worshipped as a god of medicine, and he is said to be the physician even for the gods. So to worship that, I could say,
please.
Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshana Vasudeva Dhanvantaraya. Amruta Kalsha Hastaya Sarva Bhaya Vinasha Sarva Roka Nivarvanaya Trilokya Pathaye Trilokya Nithaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa. So what does that mean to? I bow down and pray to the Lord Dhanvantari, who is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu and called as the Sudarshana Vasudev Dhanvantari. So you hold in your hands the kalasha filled with the nectar of immortality. O God, O Lord, you can remove all fears and diseases. You protect all three worlds, and you are the well-wisher of all created beings. You are the Lord of Ayurveda and the manifestation of Lord Vishnu. So you are the ultimate healer of all the living beings, and we worship you and pray you always. So with that saying, with the blessings from the God, we are hopeful that this really COVID-19 pandemic situation worldwide gets recovered, and we resume the life in normality as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
That's really a wonderful opening from your side, and since you have now started with seeking the blessings of the Lord Dhanvantari, I think this knowledge yajna will be certainly a great success. That is what we look forward. Certainly. And dear students, I request all of you, whatever questions you have, please put those questions into chat window so that we will be taking those questions. And we want this session to be very interactive. We want that all your queries be addressed during this session. And if you have more queries, I think the session would be really interesting one. So let us start with my first question to you, Dr. Roshan. As we all are facing this pandemic situation across the globe,
right?
We will touch upon that aspect later on. But to begin with, what is your opinion about Indian pharma industry? Can you just give us an idea about how Indian pharma industry is? What is the present status of the Indian pharma industry vis-a-vis the global pharma industry? In a nutshell, please give us an idea about it.
Sure. I think, being a pharmaceutical professional and the pharmacists as well, especially those who are pursuing the course and going to be a pharmacist in the near future, it's really important for all of us to understand what exactly the pharma industry from Indian perspective as well as the global perspective. Because until and unless we don't understand how big the industry is and what all major milestones have been achieved and what all capabilities that we do have as an industry, then only we'll come to know our existence. Then we'll come to know what all we can do in the betterment of the nation going forward, right? So, Dr. Rakesh, thank you so much for giving this a precise question. I can say that let's understand the pharma industry worldwide, and then we'll come down to India as well. This is the only industry across the world which is been stable, growing steadily, and surviving irrespective of the external challenges, external environment, as well as any pandemic situation like COVID-19 or any calamities. This is the only industry going to be survive irrespective of any kind of challenges on the way. So we should feel proud about being a part of the pharma industry, being a pharmacist as well. Now, let's understand the global world of pharma. The total revenue, which drives to more than 1 trillion USD, and that's what the size of total global pharma industry. 1 trillion US dollar, that is what contributing steadily and growing at higher scale. And let me tell you one thing, whole world is looking at India. Not only because the India is wonderful country, but because of many reasons. And of course, we're going to talk about that as well. Because you see that we have the plenty of resources, we have the skilled manforce, the talent is very much amply available in India. On top of that, we have the capacity, we have the capabilities and the right mindset and will to support the entire healthcare pharmaceutical fraternity across the world, and have the capability to do the exports across the globe. And you will be even surprised and will feel proud about that. Today, the Indian pharmaceutical industry is contributing and standing at a growth of 55 billion US dollar, right? And this is just a start, I can say. The future is all about India now. Whole world looking at India, and we have that capability to do that. So, and you will be even happy to know that we are standing top 3 pharmaceutical market by incremental growth across the world, and 6th largest market globally in absolute size. And that's the reason every single country is looking for India, to be part of India and to contribute further. Now, I would like to extend further, and then I can say that we are contributing a total export to more than 200 countries with a market size of $20 billion as of now. And this export is going to be exponentially grow in the coming days. And there are every single 3rd dose of medicine administered worldwide is coming from the Indian pharmaceutical facilities. And that's the feeling of proudness comes because we are contributing not only for our own nation, but also contributing to the world. And the US generic market, we are supplying more than 65% products from Indian manufacturing facilities and meeting the requirement globally. So that's what about the global market and the Indian pharmaceutical market. And I'm sure going forward we can have a deep dive and we can discuss much more further. Yeah, over to you, Dr. Rakesh.
Yeah. So you said that the future of Indian pharma industry is certainly bright, and I am seeing it. I mean, since last, particularly post GATT agreement and all those, the Indian pharma industry has been flourished like anything. But since our students now are going to enter into Indian pharma industry, I would like to know from you that what are the skill sets which one should possess to enter into a specific domain. So for example, if one has to enter into sales and marketing, or maybe into manufacturing, or maybe into some other area of the industry, can you please brief us what kind of skill set one has to possess in general, and then we will talk later on considering the pandemic situation.
Perfect. I think this is a very million-dollar question because our youth, especially who are belonging into the pharmaceutical field, has the expectations, and certainly we should meet those expectations in terms of giving the clarity. And because tomorrow they are going to run the businesses, they are going to run the pharma sector, and they are the actual future of our nation, right? So let me tell you honestly, all of you, those who are either pursuing D Farm, B Farm, or even let's say PhD or PDF, or already working in the industry or any part of the healthcare or the pharmaceutical sector, then let me tell you, your future is bright. Your future is absolutely bright. Nothing to worry about it, because industry welcomes all of you. All sorts of skills, all sorts of talent is definitely required in the industry, because if you look into the industry and the different departments that industry has, there are many departments actually. If you talk about the from R&D, within the R&D, there are huge number of departments, from including the formulation development, analytical development, packaging, process development, manufacturing, supply chain, operation management, and there is called the process transfer, then quality control, quality assurance, regulatory affairs, IPM, intellectual property management, that's what I want to say, regulatory affairs, clinical affairs, medical affairs, supply chain management, marketing, sales, business development, international marketing, and so on. So that's what, the kind of atmosphere where industry looks for the talent, and every talent is being well acknowledged, well accepted in the industry. And of course, as an industry, because every sets of operations, whether it's a research or manufacturing or quality or marketing, has to be, the skill has to be aligned with the expectation of the industry. And therefore, a few skills, I mean, as you're already pursuing the courses, you are going through the foundation course. Let me tell you honestly, you are doing the pharmacy, B.Pharmacy, or post-graduation or PhD. These are actually foundation, making you much more stronger in your basics, and then the entire industry is open to get into that. Having said that, certain skills is definitely required to be polished. I'm using word polished. What does that mean? You already possessing those qualities. You already have those kind of characters. Only thing is that you need to brush up. You need to polish it and showcase that you have that caliber to serve the industry. Now, you rightly indicated a couple of examples in terms of the, let's say, the sales or marketing, what kind of skills we should have it, or let's say R&D. Now, being an individual, and of course as a pharmacist, you should understand what best suits for you, what all that characters or qualities that you already have, and basis that you should indicate and make your career plan in terms of, oh, this is your qualities, your passion, this particular department suits you very well. For example, if you're very keen in terms of innovation, ideation, your thinking process is absolutely what you call fragile and kind of flexible, and you believe that you have the capability to contribute, whether it's a small section or the large section, but capability to contribute new ideas, and therefore R&D would be the much more preferable for you. So the case with the marketing. So marketing, actually, if you look into, these are kind of skills, soft skills that one should polish and showcase yourself that you are the right fitment for this specific job. So that's what I can tell right now. Yes, apart from the regular courses that you are doing it, let's also focus on improving yourself, improving your soft skills, improving on your communication, improving your writing skills, and understanding your specific job description, which is meant for certain role, because every single role has certain kind of expectations, and therefore if you are doing a certain job, then you should understand the complete 360-degree view of that particular job, and then slowly steadily polish yourself and contribute a lot. And let me conclude this question by saying that learning is a continuous process. One should not stop in between, irrespective of whether you've done graduation or PhD. Also, as a process of, as a matter of survival, as a matter of excellence, as a matter of looking at and bringing your futures, making it much more bright, one should keep on learning regularly, because this is the only asset that we carry, and industries looks for that kind of knowledge, that kind of skills, that kind of talent. Yeah, over to you, Dr. Rakesh.
Okay, so two things what I could summarize from your discussion. One, that you have to have those certain common skills like communication skill, or maybe those skills where you are continuously learning new things. Those two things are important. And my another sub question to this is that how much your marks in your B.Pharm, whatever marks you got, or in your D.Pharm, whatever marks you got, how much of the marks really play an important role for a student point of view? because this is always, a dilemma in the minds of the students, that 90% marks student will probably be successful in the industry, and a 60% mark student may or may not be. However, as I agree, I mean, I know, and you also agree with me, that figures and the results always mismatch. So I want to know from you that what is the role of marks which play into success of the student in the industry?
Right. I think, Dr. Rakesh, I think you absolutely raise a pinpoint, questions, the burning point, which every single student, has a doubt about it. In fact, we had it when we were studying actually, and we're thinking about getting into the industry, whether we really need to, score absolutely top, and then only the doors of success will be opening up. But later on we got the clarity, and that's the reason, you'll see that the marks are really important when you are in the academic, curriculum, academic atmosphere where you are pursuing certain courses, because in the, educational industry, the course that you are going through is certainly your caliber is being evaluated basis your score, right? Because that's the parameter every single university, colleges, institutions are looking at, right? So you should focus in terms of scoring high as much as you can while pursuing your courses. But let me give a happy news to you. Scores are matters for the kind of entry point, either getting into some kind of examinations, getting into some kind of processes. So score will definitely play a key role, but at its own way, rather than this is not the only criteria in terms of the selection of the candidate into the industry or any kind of jobs. So what does that mean? So you should of course keep focusing and acquiring the maximum score that you could do it. But on top of that, polish yourself, polish and make yourself readily available for the industry to serve the purpose, to serve the job, whatever has been going to be assigned to you, right? So that means you should also equally give importance on your rest of the other parameters which industry looks into it. That is what the talent comes into the picture. Your skills come to the picture. Your presence of mind, your agility, your flexibility in terms of adapting to getting into the new environment altogether, getting the job done, getting the work done. How you are working with your colleagues, how you are making yourself presentable, confident while doing the day-to-day job. So therefore, you not only focus on your curriculum, but also focus more on the skill sets, your characters, your personality, your mindsets. This is going to make a lot of difference. And friends, let me tell you one thing: sky is not the limit for you all guys. So just focus, have aspirations, have your passion, and whatever that you are going to do. And believe me, you are the future of the nation. And we certainly wish you all the best for it. Thank you.
Okay, so what I understand generally from my readings as well as from the interaction with various industrial players, there are 4 different areas which are really emerging nowadays in industry.
Right.
For example, we have artificial intelligence in healthcare. That is one of the most emerging area nowadays. Then nutraceuticals. Then there is cosmeceuticals. Okay. Then there is medical writing. It is coming from medical underwriting. Now we are going to medical writing. These are the 4-5 new areas which have emerged out. And there is a lot of scope or a lot of business opportunity into these areas also. Apart from our conventional pharmaceutical areas, where is you have QA, QC, R&D, manufacturing, and various aspects, as you have already mentioned. Now, with these things, there are 2 categorization of pharma industry what I see. One is the conventional pharmaceutical industry, and second is a modern pharmaceutical industry. And so the skill set required for the students to enter either into conventional industry would be different, and whereas if they wish to go to a modern kind of setup, the skill set will be different. However, the basic knowledge of pharmaceutical subjects per se would always be a common factor.
Right.
Since we are facing this pandemic now, my question to you is, what kind of challenges our industry is facing now? Because our students are going in the industry very soon, and they would like to know in well in advance will be facing. And if you can give a couple of examples by which these challenges can be overcome, that will be great for the students.
Sure. So, Dr. Rakesh, I think your question has a two aspect that we
Yeah.
should look into it. One is the industry aspect in terms of what kind of crisis industry currently going through it, and second element is that what the modernization or the hidden opportunities or the new resources, new jobs profile have been created or going to be created, and how the students can acquire that kind of opportunities, right? So let me handle first
Right. Right.
part of industry, so that all of us understand in terms of how industry is actually going through this certain turbulence. It's not only about the India, the whole world is suffering. Whole world is suffering, and this COVID-19 is a novel virus which is killing many lives of the people across the world without making any biases or differences, right? And India currently is suffering more than 57, 58,000 live cases in India, corona positive cases. If you talk about Maharashtra itself is a huge number, and on top of that, Mumbai is the epicenter of the COVID-19, where we have more than 11,000 cases currently running. And that's the reason everywhere across the India, across the nation, is a lockdown situation. So while lockdown is going on, this COVID-19 has greatly impacted the whole industry, because we are into the development of medicines, manufacturing of medical, this supply chain, because the supply chain has been clearly cut. And because of transportation, there's a limitation of resources and the execution of the operations, supply chain has been badly impacted. Having said that, because of the government's due diligence and the administration, pharmaceutical industry are allowed to operate under the super control measures, and therefore very essential drugs which are now making a great impact on the lives of the people have been allowed to manufacture and supply further. For example, hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, paracetamol, and there are so many other drugs where industry is actually manufacturing. But let me tell you, there is a great challenge. There is a great challenge on operating the production line, manufacturing, and ensuring that the product which is getting manufactured has reached the market. And of course, not only India, but also it get exported. It's been greatly impacted, and therefore the revenue of the pharma industry, at least for a one quarter, has been killed. So the entire financial year, it's not going to be so healthy as compared to the rest of the previous years. So industry is facing real challenge to it. But having said that, there are certain measures, there are certain opportunities which has been coming up. So as a farmer professionals, we should understand that aspect. Now I would like to address to your second subject point, where how we can handle the situations. So I'm not going to say what has been already been publicly known by medias and everyone, but from the industry perspective, there is a great collaboration is happening. Lot many companies are coming together to handle this challenge in terms of supplying solutions, supplying formulations, making new innovations, making new formulations, and meeting this certain demand, right? So there is a great collaboration, integration of the industries, okay? And then on the other hand, there is a great the opportunity where the pharma industry is currently working on. Now, if you have been observed, I think everyone has been observed, like we are working remotely, right? So what does that mean? The digitalization is making a lot of difference in your day-to-day life, right? And this is what the digital is the future of the industry, and therefore there are a lot of advancement already been happening, and is going to be executed further also. For example, blockchain. Then there is what we call artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation, process enhancement, industry 4.0, right? So these are the happening areas and trends where the industry is heavily investing to upgrade their infrastructure, upgrade their processes, because these all technologies are going to help the industry to enhance the productivity and thereby the growth of the industry, right? So that's a respond to the industry side of your concern. Now, as a student, I think you rightly address this is a situation. The pandemic is not going to vanish like on a click. It's slowly is going to be eradicated. It is going to take its own time, and therefore, if those who especially are in the final year and going to be passed out soon, they would be much worried about their job opportunities, securities, and what kind of preparedness that we should have it. So let me tell you, nothing to worry on that side. Is just that there are the few more hidden opportunities have been popped up, and we should be understanding those opportunities and making yourself ready for it, because the foundation course of B Pharmacy or D Pharmacy is well set as a pharmacist, as a industry professional, where you can start giving back to the industry wherever you're going to work. But having said that, since the trend is slightly changing, the traditional manufacturing companies are slowly moving to the automation, digitalization, doing everything smartly by machine learning, artificial intelligence, because there's so much of data running in the background, while there is certain operation happens, and using those data sets as a big data analysis is being done, and basis that we can smartly apply the machine intelligence, and thereby we can enhance the productivity. So the my say for you is that you also start to grab those skill sets, those learnings, at least an understanding of those. For example, blockchain, because this will help you to, if you're, for example, targeting for production or manufacturing or process enhancement or process technology transfer domain functionalities, then it will be very instrumental if you understand the blockchain as well. This is absolutely changing the phenomena of traditional manufacturing versus the modern way of manufacturing, because industry 4.0 is been implemented, right? Similarly, the artificial intelligence, that one should know it irrespective of what kind of domain or functions that you're going to be part of. Artificial intelligence making our life very smoothly. There are a lot of benefits to it, and that's what the industry is focusing on. So focus on that machine learning. And apart from this, there are a lot of IT related job of students, especially. For example, um, if earlier the IT was purely working on the IT domain altogether, but now now and then, every now and then there is every industry, IT industry, have created a healthcare division, a pharma division within their operations, within their portfolio. Why it is so? Because there are greater opportunities within the pharma industry. For example, pharmacovigilance, okay, clinical pharmacy, or I mean to say clinical affairs, clinical operations, medical writing, medical transcriptions, medical analyst, okay, interpreting the data available and generated throughout the clinical operations that has to be analyzed. So analyst has a greater demand in that. Apart from that, there is a pharmaco evidence, pharmaco vigilance, and there is a medical affair where this IT is actually getting into and providing the solutions. And therefore, these are the hidden opportunities plentifully available. Let me tell you, plentifully been available to all of you. So it's just that you need to think broadly, having the focus in terms of what exactly you wanted to do it, and then start building that characters, building that skills slowly, steadily within your specialization, and then move on further. Yeah, over to you, Dr. Rakesh.
Yeah. So in fact, I was going to ask you this another question, that what kind of job scenario would be there? What kind of job scenario would be there post-COVID? But you have already addressed and you have highlighted that post-COVID, probably the digitalization would be more prominently practiced into pharmaceutical industry, though
Right.
it is there, but more prominently. Also, you said that many of the IT companies have created a health division, their vertical has been created, and
Right.
there is an integration of the IT and health. And that's why we have pharmacovigilance, then you have clinical data management, and so on and so forth. There are various fields. And so since this kind of changes are going to take place, there was a question from Dr. Anita Yadav, one of the faculty member from Dr. L.H. Hiranandani College of Pharmacy, Ulhasnagar. She was asking about what kind of changes will happen in the job placement opportunities into the pharma industry. As you were mentioning about that, since the job profile will change, certainly job placement opportunity will also change. Would you like to add something into that? Changes
Sure.
into the job placement opportunities.
Right. I think, Dr. Anita is deserved question, and I think we should have the readiness for it. And there's a positive news for it also. Let me tell you, irrespective of the pandemic situation going on, the lockdown is going on, but industry doesn't stop. There is an alternate solution, methodologies and the operations by which the operations keep on happening it, and therefore industry is moving from traditional way of doing the business towards the modern way of doing the business using the technology as core part of their day-to-day life, right? And therefore most of the pharma companies, they started taking the placement, taking the interviews of the candidates remotely using the technology. Let's the way we are doing the webinar. So similarly, using the Skype, Zoom, and so many other platform available, they're conducting the interviews and giving the offers, right? But again, yes, let me highlight. Having said that, the requirement or the kind of openings are there, these are now selective, okay? Because the situation is completely changed. uh, the kind of recruitment used to happen earlier, now this has been very particularly be selected for the deserved positions or selective positions where there is a great requirement, right? But yes, placement is keep on happening, whether it's an internship proposals is there or whether it's a placement, final placement is concerned. HR are pretty active, they are available. And what I can say that all those who are into the placement sales should get connected with the industry, HR especially, and arrange yourself so that remotely, digitally, the interviews or the placement activity can be happen, right? So that's what I can say. And yes, the opportunities are there certainly, and only thing is that the change is there, the shift is there, right? So one should get prepared in that way, because this kind of crisis, although we are facing right now, but in the future there might be even more, right? And that's the reason industry are gearing themselves to tackle such challenges in the future as well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I mean, so you as you said that there will be changes and we need to prepare ourselves for those changes.
Right.
And
Certainly.
so there was another question by one of the students, Sakshi Singh. I think she's from our own institution. So she has asked a precise question that what students should read during this period. Of course, now before you answer this question, I would like to pass on to this particular information that since the students who are first year, second year, third year students, they should be facing the examination. Rather, final year also they should be facing the examination. So naturally, as a student, your first job is to study for the syllabi which is being given to you. That is one. And second thing is, there are a lot of literature available, lots of magazines dedicated to pharmaceutical industry which are available on the internet. You should read. I would like to ask you, Dr. Roshan, could you please suggest some literature, some magazine, or some kind of sites which students should regularly refer so that they get updated about the pharmaceutical industry and the changes taking place in that?
Right. I think, it's a golden question. Although we are, working remotely during the lockdown, and still there are a lot of things are happening. But let me tell you, it's not a honeymoon period. Okay, it's not a honeymoon period at all. So one should focus on their assigned curriculum. Gear. This is a golden opportunity because you can spend a quality time in your assigned task, assigned project, assigned curriculum, and gear yourself smartly. And especially those areas that you feel that you are slightly weak, you can gear up. Make yourself that you are confident by learning heavily, regularly, and repetitively. This will ensure that you are actually well set to face any kind of challenges that coming forward to you. Now, I think Dr. Rakesh, credit goes to you as well, because you already started this kind of a series of webinar. This is the opportunity, and many such events are happening across the sectors, across the industry as well, where the experts coming on and giving the talk, giving the presentations, and giving the insights, and all the delegates are coming forward also. This is the golden time to learn something, to to get yourself acquainted in the new domain, new technology, for example, so that we feel ourselves confident. Even myself also, making engage with so many other activities in terms of acquiring the knowledge, acquiring the new learnings, right? And therefore, continuous learning, continuous reading is must, and utilize this opportunity as much as possible. Now, coming back to the other point, what sorts of literatures or magazines or the kind of information that one should go through it? I would suggest there are two areas that you definitely should do it. One, the area which you feel that you wanted to make your career, so identify your interest, identify your passion, and then start grabbing as much as information that you could, and digest it. Digest is day in, day out, and then you'll see that you'll be going to be expert soon, right? So keep learning those sorts of information. The second thing, that whether you are into that specific function or not, but being into the pharma industry, being into the pharma profession, one should be aware about what's happening around the world of pharma, the way we look at the news to know what's happening around the world in terms of the countries, in terms of the nation, and so on. Similarly, within the pharma domain, what's happening, which are the different novel formulation are being launched, what the different technology has been developed, which are the merger acquisition are happening it, which are the different products have been launched in the market, what the different strategies has been used. So this kind of information keep on sharing on the various platform available, and you should grab that, so that you are going to be a all-rounder in a way, because you're going to have the information plentifully available. Because if you look at the interview is not only about understanding what you have been learned. It's not about that. It's all about what you also know, what also you can contribute, and what kind of skill sets or the mindset that you have. And so this kind of GK, let's say GK, will help you to survive any kind of battle, And for example, there is a lot of Pharma Biz is one of the digitally available magazine. There is a regular newsletter comes also. You can simply type, do a Google, and then see to it, like farmers informations into it, and then a lot of information will start coming in. Those who are more into the technology side of it, or R&D side of it, then you have so many paid and unpaid literatures and the information available. You should definitely refer that. So the end point is that identify what you exactly want to do it, and then start pouring your time into it and acquire those knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, so continuing this question, what success tips you can give to our students, maybe to all the students who are entering into industry in near future? If you can just pen down 3-4 tips, success tips. Generally people look after for such kind of tips always. So if you can summarize something, 3-4 tips, it will be great for the students to focus upon.
Right. So, well, success comes to everyone's life. There is no doubt about it. Okay. So you should be rest assured about your success. Its only thing is that time. At what time you are going to succeed, that depends upon your caliber, your intellectual, and your will to do hard work. Because there is no other way to get the success. Hard work is certainly required for it. Now, success has a lot of different elements to it, in a way. To get into your profession, one should be agile, one should be flexible in a way to adopt the changes, because the only constant thing in the world or in the life or in the nature is the change is keep on happening. That's the only constant phenomena. So be flexible enough to adopt that change, and then acquire required skill set to fulfill that kind of role which has been demanded, because the world is very competitive and is going to be super competitive in coming days as well, and therefore one should be flexible enough to adopt the change. Okay, so that one tip I would like to say. Number two, what really matters in the industry is not only about your knowledge. Knowledge is, of course, is one of the key element, right? What is other element is really important is about uh, how you are working with your cross-functional team, with your colleagues. So team player is what every very soft skill which one should acquire that, because your success is not only depend upon your own contribution or your hard work, but also it depends upon how effectively you have worked with your cross-functional team to achieve the common objectives of the company or of your project, I can say in that way. So this is the another area that one should definitely focus on. Okay, and importantly, you should always have a milestone in your career path. So define your career first, define your path, how and when you're going to succeed, and where you wanted to see yourself, let's say 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line. You should have the broader horizon in terms of your career. If you really don't know what you wanted to do in the life, then possibly nobody else is going to help you to succeed in your life, right? So therefore, take the help of your experts or your professors and your whosoever that you admire at the way you see themselves as a mentor or the guide. Have an open talk and define your success path, okay, your career path. And then once you have the clarity of your career and clarity of your goal, then you start automatically, your body will start executing that kind of energy to achieve that goal. So have that sorts of clarity from day one itself. And let me tell you, and with responsibility, that every single person in the world is desire, is capable enough to succeed in the life. It only depends upon, only one person will make you not to succeed, is only you, nobody else. So that's what I can say. Yeah.
Okay. So in short, if I have to say that there is no short, there are a couple of questions continuing with this. That question has come all the way from Latur, Dr. Om Prakash Busnure from Latur. He has asked, what would be the future of the 3D technology, 3D printing technology, and precision medicine and those kind of things? Because as you mentioned, that artificial intelligence is going to boom, and with this, if digitalization is going to boom further, then whether the placements are going to reduce, because that's the same question Dr. Anita was asking about, that whether the placements are going to reduce because of this kind of digitalization. So two questions I am posing you, and in very briefly you need to answer.
Sure.
One, what is the future of 3D technology, particularly in pharma industry? One, and second, whether the placements are going to be affected by digitalization.
Right. Both the questions has positive side to it, so nothing to worry on other way. Number one, 3D technology, 3D printing altogether is already been started using or implemented in the industry, including pharma industry also, in terms of designing the new devices, designing the new processes, and before actually making a scalable model of it, there is always a 3D printing model which has been tested, validated, and then only it's been recommended to go for the scalar version, higher version of it. So 3D printing is being definitely is being used, going to be used heavily in the near future, because it has a great potential, right? So I can put it in straightforward in that way. Now you also asked about like the precision medicines, right? So those days are not away. In fact, in the US, there was some trial has been done where self-dispensing remotely, whatever the prescription that a doctor has been given, you have a sort of small dispenser with you, so completely fully automated one, where you just need to put a command what kind of dose of paracetamol that you want, along with any other, let's say, drug, and the tablet get printed directly at your device, at your home itself. So that sorts of technology is already been in place. Now coming precisely on the precision medicines, yes, there are a lot of development are happening, where, because what we take as a dose, as a drug, it get absorbed in the body and then spread across the our surface areas. I mean this blood circulation altogether, right? So what is really important is that the same drug which is meant to do a local action, we are giving and making them available across the biological system. So we are actually diluting that is pharmacological effect, right? So there is a targeted drug delivery systems available where the precise dose of the drug has been given. You can actually calculate, you can meter it in terms of what interval the drug should eject and start releasing from the capsule. So those advanced NDDS kind of formulations are also happening and is going to be used more in the near future. That's, Dr. Om Prakash, I would like to say to you. Now, the extension of Dr. Anita's question in terms of, because there's so much of advancement, so much of automation processes, Industry 4.0, artificial intelligence, machine learning are going to be used heavily. So what exactly going to happen with the human mind, human being? How about their placement? How about their job security? I said nothing to worry on that side of it, because industry need all sorts of skills, right? Yes, definitely. Technology is going to take certain space, right? But in a way to operate those technologies, we need the human mind, right? And the human mind is the biggest power. So the message only is that as an individual professional, who whatever the kind of field that we are into, we should upgrade ourselves day in, day out in a way to get, fit into the highly competitive market. That's what I can say to you. I hope
Okay.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. I was of the same opinion that anyway, the scenario in industry is going to change day by day, and so we have to adapt to that. Now we have a couple of minutes left with us, and so before I go to the next question, I would like to announce to all the participants that there will be a next session on 11th of May. Next session will be on 11th of May, which will be on the nutraceuticals, and Dr. Sandeep Gupta would be talking on nutraceuticals and the scope and opportunities in the field of nutraceuticals for the pharmacy graduate. Coming back to you, Dr. Roshan, and we have 5 minutes with us now.
Okay.
I have a last question probably, and if some students are throwing some question, I'll take you last 3 minutes. Everyone has some idols or some icons in their life, right? So who is your icon, and why you feel that XYZ person or XYZ institution is your icon? So why I'm asking this question, because students should have those kind of vision into their mind also, that if I have to do something great in industry, these are the calibers, these are the capabilities I should have. So quickly summarize who is or who are your icons.
Right. So I have many icons or role model in my life, because uh, I, I I wanted to learn as many as I could in this one single life, right? So it all depends upon the kind of interest that one has. For example, if I talk about my pharmaceutical career and the kind of position that I have today, is all because of the certain learning that I had from my early days of industry. So from the industry perspective, pharma perspective, my role model, my idol is Dr. Anji Reddy, who was the chairman of Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. And when I joined Dr. Reddy's in 2006, I was lucky enough to have a direct interactions many times with Dr. Anji Reddy. And the kind of, he created the entire empire in the pharma world. It's highly, admirable. So he himself is a scientist. He created great infrastructures on the research, on the discoveries, on the generic business, biological business, and so on. He is a giant businessman from that perspective. And on top of that, he is a very down-to-earth personality. So I like those qualities, and therefore, of course, I admire him very much. So that's one. And then from other sectors, I do have a few more, my role models from defense perspective. Colonel Parida, I admire him very well, because I have been fortunate enough to work for 3 years in Indian Air Force.
So I wish to interrupt. Why do you admire? You please focus on that. That is what we want to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
This kind of personalities give you so much of hidden clues to learn, to skill yourself, and be stable in the highly competitive world. So the continuous learning, continuous, making yourself set at the ground. So these people, these personalities help you a lot. Okay. So that's what I always do admire them.
Okay, so I believe that I mean these two leaders actually make us to work, and they do not give everything ready-made to you.
No,
And
absolutely
you know,
no.
that is what I also would like to give message to the students community precisely, that do not expect anything ready-made nowadays.
Absolutely no,
You know,
no, no.
the world is very competitive, so you have to create yourself, your own vision, your own arena, your own kind of setup you have to create. And if you are able to do that with the hard work, the sheer talent what you have, probably will be successful in the life. So I thank you, Dr. Roshan, for spending your valuable time. I am really thankful to all other students who have joined. There are a couple of questions which we could not take, but I request all of the students to please note down my email ID so that I can pass out those questions to Dr. Roshan also, and can probably share the answers with you. The
Yeah.
email ID is rakesh.somani at dypatil.edu. So you can just send your questions, but please note down, students, that there is no shortcut for the success. One has to really burn the midnight oil. And please let us catch up on 11th of May on the same time, 4 p.m. with the career opportunities in nutraceuticals. Thank you so much. Once
Thank you
again,
so
Dr.
much.
Roshan, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Just last point for especially the students.
Please.
I'm available on the LinkedIn. You can like Docrosh Global Solution page for regular update on various things. And I'm personally available. Possibly I could help you in many ways. You can connect on the LinkedIn, and I will try to solve your problems. And any additional questions come from Dr. Rakesh, definitely we'll try to address that as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Rakesh, for giving the opportunity to interact with the young minds, and I feel myself very lucky in that way. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Have a nice time.